Today we'll be creating this useful palette out of air dry clay, and it's ideally suited to watercolour paint. So let's create it, and then we can show you a few features about it and how it can best be used. So let's get into it. For this project we'll be using some waxproof paper, a 2 kg packet of white clay, a rolling pin, some cling film, acrylic gloss medium, a black brush marker, a ribbon tool, a wire ribbon tool, a bladed modelling tool, a round tip wooden modelling tool, a paintbrush, a hobby knife, and a kid's stubby paintbrush. The first step is to lay out some waxproof paper and then flatten out a 2 kilogram block of white clay. Lay some cling film over the clay and roll it out with a rolling pin until the clay is approximately 2 centimeters thick. Next, use the printout that you can find on our website and retrace the line work with a water-based brush pen. Remove the cling film, wet your hand and smooth out the clay. Lay the printout face down and gently press it onto the clay. Then slowly peel the printout off. You should be left with a latent image of the transferred line work. We have printed it out to A3 sizing, but this would also work to A4 sizing. The next stage is to profile cut around the edge of the palette and remove the offcut. We can then remove the clay from each well with loop tools. Try to keep a wall thickness of about 1 centimeter between each well. I found the best way to cleanly remove the clay was to cut the shape with a hobby knife and then use the loop tool to remove the clay. Once we're happy with the amount of clay that has been removed, the end of a broad brush can be dipped in water and the well can be smoothed out with gentle circular movements. Once we have finished, we can let our palette dry. It's best to let the palette dry naturally. Once the top is dry, turn it over so the underside can dry out too. If any cracks have formed, you can easily fill them with wet clay and allow it to re-dry. Once it's fully dried out, we can give it a quick sand to clean up any rough edges. Remove any dust from the surface and squeeze out some acrylic gloss medium and paint a thin layer over the front of the palette. Allow this to dry, then flip it over and paint the base. Repeat these steps and give the palette a second coat and it should be sealed nicely. To use your new palette, you can load it with the colours in the same positions as they lie on the colour wheel. The wall that lies across the palette separates the warm colours on one side and the cool colours on the other. Colours that lie across from each other are called companion colours. This is useful to bear in mind as when companion colours are used next to one another, they have a high contrast effect where they make each other look more vibrant. And also to darken a tone so the colour remains clean, the companion colour can be mixed with it. You can also use your palette to work out harmonious colour schemes. A split complementary scheme involves the use of 3 colours. Start with one colour, find its complement, and then use the 2 colours on either side of it. For example, the split complementary colour of yellow is red-violet and blue-violet, and for orange, the split complementary colours are blue-violet and blue-green. A triadic colour scheme is comprised of 3 colours evenly spaced on the colour wheel. A tetradic colour scheme is comprised of 4 colours evenly spaced on the colour wheel. An analogous colour scheme is a group of colours that lie next to each other on the wheel. An analogous colour scheme creates a rich monochromatic look. Well, thanks for watching. Maybe you might like to make a palette like this for your studio. Stay tuned, stay creative, and we'll see you next time.